Welcome to First Alarm Family First. I'm Jen Herrera alongside Carolyn Acosta. And as always, we have a guest today. And Carolyn, I'm really excited about today because we are doing something with someone, talking about something that we haven't talked about yet that I think is hugely important.
Yeah, today we're so honored to welcome Linda. She's a medium who has been helping people connect with loved ones who have passed. She works with these individuals and their families in grief, giving them comfort, reassurance, sometimes even a sense of peace that they may not be finding. We're really excited to have you, Linda. Welcome.
Thank you, Jen and Carolyn. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and talk all about this very special work I do with your loved ones who have crossed over in the afterlife. The path that I took to get here was anything but linear. If you look at my history, my background, I really shouldn't be a medium, but I've always been a medium. And I don't know what it's like to not have this gift, but I had no idea until my early 40s, till I had my third child, that I was actually communicating on a daily basis with a spirit. When I say spirit, it's, your loved ones in the afterlife. I just love doing it. I love seeing the positive impact it has on somebody's grief. It's not a replacement for traditional grief counseling, but it can be so very powerful in hearing these very personal details and things to help you just be a little bit less heavy and feel a bit lighter.
You said after the birth of your third child, Linda, is
Yes.
that when you first kind of could put a name to what was going on? Do you remember growing up for a long time, experiences now that you're like, oh, that's what that was?
My whole manner of being makes sense now. I can go back to my childhood and say, "Oh my goodness, my dad used to joke like Linda's so sensitive, you can't even talk to her and she'll cry." Well, I'm still that way, but I wouldn't trade it for anything because I'm sensitive so I can pick up, the energy of a spirit. I didn't have a religious upbringing and I didn't have a spiritual upbringing. So I really had no belief system. And my dad died when I was 25. I had just graduated college. And I really feel like the lack of belief system and where did he go? You were here today and you're not here. How could you be gone forever? Really augmented my grief. And that's really when I started kind of thinking about it. And that's when my path started. Definitely sent me signs, and my mom asked for signs. I never did, but once we got them, they literally smacked me in the face, and I was like, okay, this has to be real. And then I saw a medium when I was 35, about 10 years later, and that was the day I knew that this was real, and he was communicating with her. Still had no clue, but I started to see him. And then I started to kind of wake up in the middle of the night, or, 11, 12 at night. And there I would literally open my eyes and see like a stranger or a figure standing beside my bed. And my husband is so glad I don't scream anymore, because I would scream because now they didn't. Now, just, I need to tell you that they never look scary. They look very human, but they were trying to tell me, you're seeing me. And the day I knew, I met up with a girlfriend. Her name is Pooja, and Pooja ran up to me and she's like, "Linda, I just lost my girlfriend. She was 30, 33 or 4. Can you see her?" And I said, "Well, we're at a park. I'm outside. No, I don't think I can." And I never really intended to. But that night I went to bed and I saw this young woman in spirit beside my bed, and she was desperately trying to get my attention. She was waving, she was like jumping up and down. And it didn't scare me. It's just something I always did. And the next morning, she was still there. So I got a pen and paper and I wrote down everything. She spiked a volleyball, she did the Macarena. And I called Pooja later that day. It's like charades. And everything I told her was correct. So that was my first intentional reading. And Pooja said, "Linda, you have no idea what this did for me and her family." And a funny story about her, I waited to call Pooja, and I was kind of cleaning my house that day. And I remember cleaning my bathroom and I heard, I can't believe, so I can communicate with them telepathically. So they speak in here, I can hear them. And I heard, I can't believe I got, well, I'm not going to swear, but a bleeping.
You can swear here.
She literally, okay, thank you. I was cleaning the sink and she would not leave me alone because she wanted me to give Pooja the messages. And I heard, "I can't believe I got fucking bile duct cancer." And I was like, okay. So when I told Pooja that, she's like, 100% she would actually swear and say she couldn't, because bile duct cancer is very rare. And she was was young and she was angry. She's not angry there, but those are those without a doubt validations that her name is Danielle was talking to me by swearing, by proving she was there. So that's really when my journey started, and that was in January of 2018. And I was still very scared of it. Hollywood does not portray this in a the way that I experience it. It's portrayed as very dark, evil. I still get asked, well, do you see any demons? I've never seen anything but the most beautiful, or felt anything but love and the most beautiful connections. I actually don't believe in demons or any of that part, but that's another story. And I found a mentor. Her name is Shirley, and I took 36 weeks of spirituality classes because I wanted to understand this. I wanted to, figure out like what I was seeing. But the most important thing was she got rid of my fear. She trained me. I had to unlearn a lot of societal conditioning with this. And I'm very, very grateful because there's so many people that do this work. And I've heard, honestly, horror stories. People will come and tell me the things that some people tell them, like, or your child is stuck. They didn't make it to the afterlife. They're still stuck somewhere, and that is so not true. Feel a big responsibility in this work to, be truthful, and I won't say nothing. I don't hear it. I never hear anything bad, but even if I did, I would never ever repeat it. You want somebody to leave feeling lighter. So that's really the lens that I do this work through. It's just pure love. And I'm sure Carolyn maybe can. I mean, I felt so much love from Alex for her. I don't even have the words to quantify it. It's a whole body feeling of love.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When, I did the reading this past Sunday, and I can tell you that you just validated so many things about our life and how we lived as a family and a couple, that I knew that he was coming through. And I believe in all this stuff. I feel that even I am very sensitive to certain energies and stuff like that. And we were talking about how it's energy,
Mm-hmm.
and it just gave me like more peace. I know what he had was an illness and something that was not him, but
Mm-hmm.
it's, you still you want to hear it, and you want to know that they're okay. I think that's the biggest thing, is like, okay, I don't have him here, but is he okay? Like, I know he's not here with us anymore. I want him to not be in purgatory. I don't want him to be suffering or having, I just want him, if he did this, I want him to be in peace.
And I'm glad you brought that last point up, because there's something I really wanted to talk about today. And I've done many readings where people have passed the same way Alex passed. And there are a lot of people that will tell you that, you go to a bad place, or you go and you get punished, or you suffer. I have never seen that. I don't experience that. I mean, he came through larger than life, and they will tell you in their own very specific way that they are okay. I mean, every reading I do is different because every person is different. But there are these themes, and the main one that is I love you, and they'll tell you that a million different ways. I mean, he wanted me to buy her flowers, and I didn't have time. The second one is they're going to tell you they're okay. This is huge, and they're going to tell you in their own special way. I had a young girl named Jacqueline who died, and her mom came for a reading, and Jacqueline had bone cancer. She died when she was 19. She was a freshman at UCF, and she has this personality like Alex. Like, she actually came 2 weeks before and busted in a massage. And I didn't know who she was, but they come early because they're so excited to help you and to connect. So anyways, in her reading, she slapped this huge bowl of pasta down, and she went, you see this? You see this bowl? This is how she's talking. And I'm like, okay, it's pasta. I said, Sarah, her mom, said she's got a bowl of pasta. It's penne Alfredo. And she's like, oh my goodness, that's her favorite meal. And she goes, I'm going to eat this whole bowl tonight. And she had cancer and she couldn't eat for months. So this was her way, using her favorite dish to tell her mom, I'm okay and I can eat this here. So it's one thing to hear you're okay. It's another thing to validate it with these incredible clues. I mean, I have people that, are in car accidents, and, they have some pretty bad, obviously, wounds. And, they'll come and show me like their arm, and I keep saying like, his arm is okay. His arm is okay. And, the mother will say, well, he broke it in 20 places. So a spirit knows exactly what you need to hear. to feel better. And I never know. I'm just this open channel that it comes through, but it's very clear that this gift is works in a healing way. And that's what I love about it. It's meant to uplift and help you.
Linda, how important is it for the person who is grieving to be open-minded? I personally, I believe in this, and I love the work that you're doing. I love Carolyn, as religious and deep in her faith that she is. She still
Mhm.
believes in this and is open to this, because that doesn't always happen with people whose religion is so prominent in their life.
Yes.
There is a societal conditioning, right? So how, I don't want to say change someone's mind, because we don't want to change people's
Mm.
minds. Like, how do you kind of get that point across, or how do you handle, I guess, maybe people who have a hard time believing in this?
That's a great question. And it's something honestly have struggled with that for years. And the one thing I tell myself that makes it okay and I don't worry about it anymore is that I don't expect people to understand the reality I live in. But it's such a beautiful thing that I can't imagine not having these daily visits. Like they just give me such fulfillment. If somebody comes to me and they're a skeptic, I can work with them. And but I will say it's much harder. The reading goes much slower because a reading is me, Carolyn, and Alex. So it's a connection between three people. If she's closed, or it just takes longer. Or some people bring a specific item. Like I've had some very strange things being brought, and they are waiting for that piece of, let's just call it an earring. And if an hour goes by before I bring up the earring, they're kind of closed off until they're waiting to hear that message. So being open to receive anything is so important, because your loved ones know what you need to hear. They may not care about, I mean, they'll validate the earring, but there's much bigger things that they want to tell you. So, and you know what? I'm not here to change anybody's belief. And if I start to try and justify this, it lowers my energy and I feel yucky.
Yeah.
And I have to be way up here. My energy has to be really high to connect with a spirit, because remember, they're vibrationally very high. They're in a space of pure love. And so I have to raise my energy level to meet with theirs. And anytime that I think negatively about this, I can't connect. So one of my spirits, Joaquin Oliver, he passed in the Parkland shooting. He's been visiting me for the past 7 years, proving that he's still here, since his mom love notes and all that thing. But he has entry music. He loves music. So he will play a song. I hear so much music when I channel, but he will play a song and then he'll walk in because he knows I'll be able to see him quicker, because music raises my vibration. So he's using tools to get me to notice him, which I just think is hilarious and, and crafty.
That's amazing though. When speaking of, religion and stuff, I have a lot of faith. And the way I connect with like the Holy Spirit in the morning, I get up at 5 in the morning and I'll go for like a run. And I know that
Mhm.
I'm in when the moon is still out. And I literally tell myself, Lord, I want to hear your voice through the day. Like whatever I need to do, whatever moves I need. I mean, and that's the same way I feel like too before a reading. I'm like, Alex, please come through. I'll hold on to something. And I just really give myself to it. So I think it's the same thing. Love. I feel like it's all love and nothing dark.
Yeah, I'm connecting to God or source or whatever you want to call it, something bigger than us here. And I don't think that's any different than praying to God or Jesus on, I just kind of, I didn't have the religious upbringing, so I don't know a lot about religion. My dad was actually an atheist. So, I mean, a very strong atheist. So that's why his death was very hard for me, because, I didn't have anything to hold on to. But I love that you pray, because that's you're setting an intention. And I always tell people, all you have to do is pray or talk to your loved ones or intend to talk to them, and they can hear you. People will say, tell my child I love them. I said, well, they just heard you. You can talk to them out loud. You can talk to them in your head. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing an interview. That's literally when a new spirit comes in, I'm interviewing them on the spot. Like, tell me about yourself. What did you do? What's your name? And it's a very fast process, but it's kind of similar to what we're doing here.
Do you have spirits, Linda, who come and you don't know who they are? Like right now, do you have one who has visited or regularly visits, and you've never spoken with their loved one who's still here on earth?
Yes. So If you make an appointment for next Monday, the day before, your loved one will start showing up, or the morning of, I'll start taking notes. I literally in my head have a notepad and I'll go, she likes wearing red lipstick. She likes purses. Oh, this song it will play. One time I was getting ready for a reading and I had Pearl Jam playing in my head, and I got on the computer and I said to this woman, how do you connect with Pearl Jam? And she goes, oh my gosh, my brother works for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's so yes, I have spirits come all the time. I have no idea. It's like turning the corner at a grocery store and you're face to face with somebody and you don't know anything about them. So I will start like, who are you? And a lot of times I do get names. I could get Carolyn's name. When Jacqueline busted into my massage, she was yelling at me, Sarah, my mom, like she was dressed as a cheerleader. She was cheering and she was yelling, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. And the masseuse wasn't Sarah. So it didn't make sense at the time until I opened my computer and connected with her mom. And then it made sense. And I said to Sarah, oh my goodness, she's been following me for the last week. She literally, they see this opening when I'm never alone when I go to the bathroom at the end of the day, when you want to put your pajamas on, there's
Forever.
forever. Yes. And I do get asked a lot, is this overwhelming? It's not. It means your husband is coming to tell me how much he loves you. And I could do it all day, if I could, because it just feels so good. They want to connect.
It's amazing. And especially somebody when, you've lost somebody, you're going through a lot of like just deep and emotional like grief. And I think that helps too, like their mental state when they're able to connect to somebody and really, find that comfort. And this is, we're talking about mental health, but that helps the person here mentally just to be able to
Yes.
cope with their, day to day.
Yeah, I do. The feedback I've gotten from so many people that I've worked with has been really positive. I have people come and they're in their 50s and or 60s and their mother died when they were 4. So imagine it's been 55 years since they've heard from her. They have one or two memories of her and she comes through and validates 3 or 4 things, and it's just, people get rid of their anger here. They definitely, I've just heard so many people say there's a shift. They can't really describe it more than there's a shift and they just feel better. So, and especially with, your situation, just the way Alex validated that it was, PTSD, and it was something totally separate from you, and, something he was going through. And I remember you saying it was all accurate. I think it's nice to hear those pieces.
Linda, how do you handle, because you hear a lot of stuff, right? A lot of, I mean, I know the energy is positive, right? And
Always.
what you share is always positive, but you're still dealing with some pretty sad, heavy stuff on a regular basis. How do
Yes.
you handle that?
Well, luckily, what I see, what a spirit will show me in a reading is always through. It's like watching a PG it's watching a Disney movie. I mean, I work in symbols and metaphor. So if somebody has passed through suicide, all they will do is this. They'll just cross their arms and I'll say, your loved one is showing me that they passed by suicide. If they had a heart attack, they just do this. So that's my symbol. So I work in a lot of symbols. The goal is let's keep my energy high. So they're never going to show me anything tragic or dark. Even a violent car accident, I see a stop sign. But I will say that I have to be prepared for a child to walk into the space. And I've channeled many kids, 10, 4 year olds for 90 minutes. And the grief a mother has is so, I don't have words for it, but I learned quickly that if I focused on your grief or a mother's grief or Carolyn's grief, I wasn't going to get anywhere. So I had to learn to kind of put a bubble or a bridge over that and go to the child. I mean, Kylie is one of my 4 year olds who passed. She passed from a heart attack. I could hear her laugh when she walked in. She's this giggly, bubbly laugh. And I kept saying to her, okay, Kylie, let's knock your mom's socks off. What do you want to tell her to make her feel better? So these are the kind of things I do. And it's all like, okay, I never feel sad when I'm connected to Kylie or any spirit. Our goal is working together to get those validating pieces, but to also, you know, um, tell mom I'm okay and tell her I'm still with her. Kylie's story, I kept saying to her mom, what's with the yellow tree? There's this beautiful tree with yellow. Is that where she's buried? And her mom said, no, that tree's in our backyard. And I said, well, who's swinging under the tree? Because Kylie's on the swings under the tree. And she said, we adopted a daughter. Brooklyn's swinging. And I said, well, Kylie and Brooklyn are swinging together. And I said, when you're laughing with Brooklyn, that's where Kylie is. She's in your laughter. So that's where our loved ones are. They're in your favorite song. They're still with you. And a lot of the work I do is validating that they can see you. They're just in the next room. I know Carolyn got a few pieces, the weightlifting. He
Yes.
can see things that you and your son are doing present day. And I just think it's so nice to know that they can still see you. I mean, Carolyn's nephew was named after Alex and he brought that up. I mean, that's just nice because I think that you would feel like, you're sad because you feel like he's missing out on, your son growing up. And I know he's physically not here, but at least he can see him and you.
Yeah.
So
And
I think that,
that you said was, when you mentioned those things, I'm like, he could see us, like, at least in the present day, right? What we're doing, at least trying to move forward. It's hard, but he's there and he's walking along us. And it's nice that he can come in and out. And, I see signs and I'm always open to that, like numbers and stuff. And I know he's there. I feel it. I even get goosebumps sometimes. And I'm like, that's him.
Mhm.
So and my son, I think is younger. He's a little more close to that. He's like, I don't know, mom,
Mhm.
I keep doing that. And I'm like, it's fine. I was like, when your time
Oh,
comes, feel you need that because I feel I need it. I was like, it's here, and this is something you can also do to connect with your.
yeah, I love it when they send you signs. I will say you know, the main thing is to be open when you already are open to receiving them. They can send birds, butterflies, ladybugs. I had a dragonfly land on my Parkland bracelets. I have a photo of it. It can also mess with your electronics. It can play your favorite song. If you ever are in a grocery store and you see a guy that looks just like Alex, that's literally him saying hi to you. He can kind of like imprint, not physically, but just, there's just so many ways they can connect with you. And I think, just acknowledging it, they'll send you more. You can ask for specific signs. Ask him to come in your dreams. There's kind of this unwritten rule that you kind of have to, ask. Like they're always there. They'll never leave. They're always there and willing to assist, but you kind of have to ask them. Not for permission, but just so you're kind of all in, I guess, is what, you know. I get so many signs. I don't even need them because I can see my dad and my grandparents, but this is the beauty of spirit. They
That's what I was going to
still,
ask you. I was just going to ask you, do you see your loved ones or do you have to go to somebody else to see them?
I should go to somebody else because when I see my dad, it is very hard for me because I get sad because yeah, like, but I'm starting to see him more, but it's just, I get very sad. I want to hug him and he's not here, but I'm grateful, but yeah, I should probably see somebody else.
Yeah.
But he also knows that I'm so busy talking to the other people that are present that he kind of just leaves me alone. But my Danish relatives, I went to Denmark this summer. They've been talking to me and leaving me signs that I should start talking about this. I went to clean out my pantry one morning. Just really in the last month have decided to talk openly about this because these stories I have are so beautiful and I really want to help people. And I decided to clean out my pantry and I found a Danish coin in my pantry. I I mean I brought coins home from Denmark 3 years ago, but why in that moment when I decided that I was going to start talking about this and I was even, started an Instagram channel that 2 minutes later I found a coin. That's them saying, yes, go for it. Like they're leaving me breadcrumbs, like do it. So, Carolyn, if you ever wonder, like, okay, what should I do next with, any decisions, like try asking for guidance and see what comes. Like you may see a rainbow at the end of the day and go, okay, I'm on the right path. He definitely wants to help you.
Yes. No, and I do that all the time. I'm like, gee, because there's so many decisions I have been having to make lately. And
Uh-huh.
I try to like go somewhere where like outdoors where there's nature and I can really just
Hmm.
everything and see if he can send me at least a feeling of like, am I going? And usually it works. I mean, it's not like a physical, I see something. I just know there's a thought,
Yeah.
there's like something, call so and I do. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, problem fixed.
I love that. And many times it is subtle. Just your own thoughts can be his thoughts. Doesn't have to smack you in the face with like, doesn't have to be a bird landing on your head. It can just be, and you know Alex better than anybody. So trust that when you feel him and you think he's there, he really is. Yeah.
Love that you got to share this with Carolyn, and I love, Linda, that you are starting and putting yourself out there to share this with more people. I know the Instagram you started as Rose Colored Medium, and
Hmm.
preparing for this, I was like, oh, I want to ask her why she named it that, but now I get it because of how you look at things.
I have spirit puts rose colored glasses on me before I do this. I mean, they really want this connection to continue, for 2 hours, and if they show me something that's not through rose colored lenses, which they can't, but yeah, then it doesn't work. So, and it's incredible how crafty they are. There was an example where I was trying to get Carolyn and Alex's son's name, and sometimes I get fixated on something like, give me the name, and I couldn't get it. We tried a lot of names and they didn't work. Well, I hear them. He told me in such a beautiful way. Do you want to tell the story, Carolyn?
So she was talking about Alex, and she sees him like in the grill, and we have the grill on the pool deck. And she was like, "Do you have a memorial there of him?" And I'm like, "A memorial?" I'm like, "I don't." And then she's like, "He's pointing to the corner, and when we extended the deck, the concrete wasn't dry yet, and he put Alex Jr. 17, and he was pointing to that." And then I told her my son's name is Alex because I hadn't mentioned that yet. Yeah.
So because I couldn't get it one way, he knew, and so he tried a different way. And this is I mean, they're just the same there as they were here. They're just missing their physical nature. They look human. Alex danced.
That's he danced.
He has great. He was dancing this morning in my kitchen. I really feel like they're not they're not dead, and I don't like using even that the term death, and I do understand we have to talk about it in that way, um, but they are very much alive where they are, and I think that's why one of the reasons I don't feel sad, because they're just it's so natural for me, to automatically connect and communicate, and okay, what do you want to tell your mom, and it feels good.
Yeah.
I
And I
think it's
think
a
it gives you like something to, that I know it's not a forever. Like I'll see him again. Just like, you mentioned he's with his dad, smoking a cigar, eating, he said even like pork sandwich. I'm like lechon, because that's what he would call
Hmm.
it, Gina. So I'm
Hmm.
like, I could see them both smoking a cigar, listening to salsa music, eating lechon. So I'm like, how do you know all this? So I'm like, you know what? I will be with him one day again.
Yes. Yes, I call it transitioning. When we pass or transition to the afterlife or heaven, there's always someone to greet us. We never get lost. And Alex confirmed that his father was waiting for him, and he had salsa music greeting him when I mean, what a beautiful way, if you think about, how he the day he left in that way, doesn't it feel better? Like, but that's his way using the lechon and his dad. That's him making you feel better about it. And he knew, I don't know. I just those are the pieces. That's why I do it. I they just look at things so differently. Joaquin, my Parkland buddy, his sister had a baby, and the baby came early, very early, like 31 weeks. And I kind of knew that she was coming within a week. His sister was in the hospital. And I woke up one morning and he was standing beside my bed and he had like a countdown clock. And then he showed himself and Mia on a water slide. And I go, what are you doing? He goes, we're coming to Earth today and we're having a blast. So instead of thinking about a premature baby, like, oh my gosh, she's early, he showed it in that way. I can't make it up. But it just makes you feel so much better about it.
no, it's again, it's the optimism, it's the positivity, it's the rose
Mhm.
colored glasses, if you will. Um,
Yeah.
okay, remind everybody, Linda, where they can find you.
So you can message me on Instagram, Rose Colored Medium, or my website, which is it's a mouthful. It's my full name. It's lindaheithaus.com, Lina, and then my last name, Heithaus. AUS as in Sam. There's a button on there to request a session. If you want a session, I can work with anybody on the planet from any location. It works the same as in person. People kind of are shocked, but it's because we're all from the same source. We're all a source of God, and our souls all split, and that's how it works.
Linda, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your work that you do.
I'm so grateful. Jen, thank you for putting Carolyn and myself together. I cannot thank you enough. And Carolyn, I just love you so much. And Jen, of course, I love you. You're like a ball of sunshine every time I walk into Pilates. But
I was going to say, thank goodness for Pilates for
thank
setting.
goodness for Pilates. But there's a reason I sat next to you.
I agree.
Yes. And yeah, but Carolyn, I love you more than I can say in words. And that's from Alex to you. So yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No, this has been fantastic. And I can't wait because I know that you're doing so much more. And I can't wait to share with everybody else as you continue to grow what you're doing and to spread the word and your connection. I think it's very cool. We remind everybody who watches us here on First Alarm, family first. And I apologize for the dogs barking in the background, but we remind everybody to sound the alarm.
Save a life.
We'll see you next time.